Coming up, coming up. And there we are. Okay, let me play the music and we're going to get started. So listen up and make sure my F10 key is up. Good. Here we go. And dance with me. So you want to be a cool kid. Yes. Hanging with the inset. Yeah. Looking real and fine. Yeah. Wait for the drum roll for the bridge. Here we go. I didn't bring my sticks today. Here we go. Bop, 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 bop. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is We Dish Two Saucy Dames. I've got another dame with me today. I'm Bonnie D, and I'm delighted to welcome a new friend. She was on one of my other programs a couple weeks ago, and I was so intrigued with her persona and her beauty and her story that I said, I think you're a saucy dame. And Carlamay said yes. Welcome, Carlamay. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Delighted to have you. Where are you right now? Tell everybody what state are you in?
Well, actually, Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Okay. Is that a state or is that a province or what is it? What do we
Province.
call it? It's a province.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm in the state of Tennessee, so we're probably a couple thousand miles apart. Is your weather warm or cold right now? What's going on for the winter?
We are actually warm. We're supposed to be very cold, but we are actually warm.
Good. I
Yeah,
think we're running about 30 degrees, which to you is about zero on the Celsius scale.
which is
So
warm for us here at that time too.
okay. Now we're going to call you Carlamay S, but would you like to just tell people your last name once so that they know?
Yeah, Carlamay Sharamata.
Sheremata, if you want to look her up. So I have created for you an overview rhyming bio with everything you sent me, and I hope you recognize the person I'm talking about, Carla May. So let me go through this, and you can laugh and you can cry and you can clap, but don't say stop. Okay, so here we go. And then we'll get started with our Saucy Dame songs and more. So here we are. Bonnie D and Carla May S on the show. Seasoned speakers and writers and talkers you may know. In the halls of social's embrace, we're sharing inspiration with our style and our grace. Here we go. Carla May S. was born in Edmonton, Alberta. She is going to tell her age in 75. A vibrant soul with dreams alive. At 18 months, a surgery brought pain, but resilience and courage became her refrain. By age 2, her talent, poof, began to ignite, hitting the right notes with perfect insight. With her mom and brother, she'd sing and explore music-filled travels from church to store. Dad's transfer to Calgary bought a new start, where piano and songwriting captured her heart. An out-of-the-box thinker, creative and free, Carla May's path was shaped by her unique melody. But a teacher's heart, I wish I had Roland music here. A teacher's harsh words in grade 3 took their toll, challenging Carla May's spirit, yet music healed her soul. Flute in grade 7, me too. Awards in her hand, singing in competitions across the land. Her brother had an accident. Injuries taught her to care. Life grew heavy, yet she found the strength to bear. In grade 9, Carla May's talents reached new heights, creating songs with artists chasing the bright lights. Through school and work, she balanced her days from dramas to musicals. Carla May found her way. At 19, Nashville called her name, Carla May, a recording artist beginning her claim to fame. Her journey I'm only half done because I hope your seatbelt's on. Her journey expanded to Ireland and Ukraine, volunteering, performing, easing other people's pain. In the oil and gas industry, she worked with pride, breaking barriers as challenges she defied. But when pay inequality stung, she took a bold stand. She applied to the police. Courage was Carla May's brand. Despite a health battle, she kept the process going. In 2002, the police welcomed Carla May. She was glowing. In 2009, she began working in high schools, a school resource officer helping kids deal with rules. 2 decades of service with justice as her guide. Then PTSD beckoned, a struggle deep inside. In 2002, the Bliss Chic boutique at her home she built, empowering girls and women with stylish spirit to the hilt. In 2023, a new chapter began to unfold. Carla May wrote the book Youth Truth with Stories Untold. Keynote talks, workshops, and wisdom she shares, helping others find strength in their own despair. Still singing for events, a gift she holds dear, a voice, an anthem spreading hope year by year. Carla May S., A life of rich designs. Through trials and triumphs, her spirit always shines. A leader, a creator with passion ablaze, inspiring so many people in so many countless ways. What'd you think?
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, thank you. You sent me the core, you sent me the bullets, your story, and I turned it into a rhyming bio. I'm going to finish the intro now. Now on We Dish, we're here to play, lighting up life and love in a fun, fresh way, chatting on culture, wacky news we adore, music, food, laughter, and oh, so much more. No politics or gloom here, just joy and delight. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here, but it's called on demand for a reason. Meet us for real with your comments in tow. Just play nice. You know who you are, you know. Bonnie D and Carlamay S, you're more two saucy dames. Together we dish on life's joyous games. Welcome, Carlamay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you liked it. I think I'm the only host who does long form rhyming bios for my guests. When I do the cool dude show, I turn them into puns. They say, "What? What? You did what? They're so intrigued. They've never heard their life story done like that. So I'm glad you liked it. Anything you want to fill in between? You sent me a lot of information. Anything you want to add before we move on?
Well, I forgot to say I had a child in 2008. So he's
Okay.
16 now, a boy. Went through a divorce as well in 2015, and then met my husband now and got married last year in 2024.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I wish you a new lifetime of
A new
happiness.
lifetime.
Of
Yes.
happiness. Yeah, there you go. So I would like to know, and I'll share with you mine as well. Saucy Dame songs. What defines you, describes you, or what kind of music do you really love that talks to you? Carla May, go ahead.
Okay, well, number one, The Fight Song by Rachel Platten, and love it. It came out in 2015, and that was kind of the year for me with my divorce that went through. And as music, as you had said, is such a therapy, especially for me. And man, the words, it just allowed me to stand up more and say, you know what, no matter what comes in my way, I can do this. So that's
Okay.
number one. Did you want the second one?
I want to know, I didn't ask you in advance. You want to sing something for us? Anything? Well, let's get farther into the show and maybe you'll,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I've never heard your singing voice and you were on my Read My Lips show, but I didn't ask you to sing there either. So it's up to you. I don't want to push you, but we would love to hear. So what's your next song? Go ahead. Give them all.
Next song is Never Gonna Not Dance Again by Pink.
Oh my. Oh my. What do you like
Yeah.
about that one?
For me, as I was kind of going through the words and re-listening to it, it's just one of those that um, you can kind of take everything away, but you can't take that away. And I mean, you put your dancing shoes on, you put music on, and life could be craziness around you, but you just start
Hmm.
dancing. And just like your music, as you start, and we're all just kind of
Yep.
moving to the beat,
Yep.
right? You kind of stand up and take your little dance break. So that one for me again. And the last one is called Ready or Not by Britt Nicole. And this
Mm.
one talks about people trying to put you in, inside your box and trying to make you keep inside your lines and not allowing you to shine. But that's not who you are. And for me, totally not who I am. And so just being able to be outside and live outside my box and to be able to color outside the lines, and it's okay.
It is okay. I'll tell you a funny story, a sad story. When my daughter was in first grade, we were living in Eugene, Oregon, and I won't say anything else. I don't want to embarrass her. She doesn't watch the show, it doesn't matter. But I got a report from her teacher who said she's coloring outside the lines. I think she needs remedial artwork and needs remedial reading. We don't think she's up to par with her classmates. I think she was 4 at the time.
Oh my goodness.
And my daughter ended up being a phenomenal artist. And when she was in medical school, in her biology classes in high school, and when she went to medical school, she drew diagrams of everything. She had a notebook for her biology class in high school that was phenomenal. It was like a textbook. I have paintings of hers that I've had framed that have been on the walls of my house for
Yeah.
years. And she was a phenomenal artist, and she was number one in her medical school class and Phi Beta Kappa junior year at a major university. And they said she needs remedial reading and she needs how to learn to color in the lines. And I will never forgive that teacher.
You know what? But that just shows sometimes how closed and small-minded some people are, if
Yeah,
we're going to be honest with stuff.
That's all they know, right?
Yes.
That's all. I teach kids how to draw within the line. Well, good for you, lady, but maybe they don't.
Yeah. Well, and I think then we look out and we wonder why some of our kids like just kind of tunnel vision and this in the box. No, like
No.
just let them be who they are.
Yeah. That's why we're here, because we're saucy dames, and we know that, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
who's called you a saucy dame in your lifetime? Maybe no one, and maybe somebody, and you're going to call them up and say, "Thank you, I'm saucy again." There you go. I want to share my songs with you, and
Yes.
I realized a little while ago that Donna Summer's songs, Donna Summer apostrophe S songs, are almost the story of a lot of my life. I was a disco dancer and a dance teacher. I did exhibition dancing. I did competitions. I had a professional partner living in Eugene, Oregon many years ago. I was 97 pounds, and he could lift me over his head in the Saturday Night Fever, the over the head spin, death drop to the floor, spin me 3 inches from the floor, and then set me on my feet. And we would and we danced to Donna. We entered a Disco Hawaii contest. We didn't know, Carlamay, that the people who won first place, the woman owned a dance studio when she
Oh,
was a professional teacher. Nobody asked her that, or they knew and they didn't care. We came in third anyway. So I put together a collection of Donna Summer songs, which I think are my songs. She works hard for the money. I have. Hot stuff.
mhm.
I've been called that on the radio. Hello. No more tears. Enough is enough. Been there, done that. Last Dance, not yet, but I'm not dancing much anymore. And I Feel Love. I Feel Love. Giorgio Moroder, the machine.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I also have a whole bunch that I think you're like, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Cyndi Lauper, you know that one.
Yep.
Groovin' by the Young Rascals. Groovin' on us. Anyway, You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore is an
Mhm.
independence theme. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, Helen Reddy. That was 63 and 71. That was before you were born. I love Janis Joplin's Me and Bobby McGee for the line, Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Isn't that
Yes.
the truth? Then for those of us who are coming back from somewhere or people started to push us down, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar. Stronger, Britney Spears. Respect,
Mhm.
Respect, Aretha Franklin, late great. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. New Attitude by Patti LaBelle. I love that song.
Mm.
On the
Yep.
dancing side, because I was dancing for somebody's Dancing Queen by ABBA, I was. Happy Dance by Mercy Me. Do you know that song? Do you know the band Mercy Me?
I know Mercy Me, but I've got to listen to that Happy Dance song.
You have to. A guest on
Okay.
my Read My Lips show about a year ago picked that as the quote from that song for her fictional quote. And it's a Christian rock band.
Yep.
Even though I'm not Christian, it's not a religious song. But one of the
Yep.
lines is, It's not how you move, it's what moves you. And
Ah,
the video takes place in somebody's basement at a wedding. And they find people in the corners, hey, you with the concrete shoes, come on up and dance. And they get everybody in this line dance, little kids, the bride in her dress. The band is a riot. And the lead singer, who's very attractive, he'll say, Happy Dance. And you have to catch that timing. It's so syncopated. Happy Dance. And I just put that on, dance in my kitchen sometimes. So it's a wonderful song. Then a Megan Trainor song, yeah, that I just learned about. I use Megan Trainor on my Alexa when I'm going out of the house shopping or to the hairdresser or whatever. I put Alexa on the highest volume in the kitchen. So if anybody coming to the door, they think I'm home with a lot of music on. The song is I Feel Better When I'm Dancing. And the line
okay.
for you is show the world what you can do. Prove to them you've got the moves. I don't know about you, but I feel better when I'm dancing. Yeah, yeah. See? That's a good.
Nice.
And then Miss Independent by Kelly Clarkson. Miss Independent, Miss Self-Sufficient, Miss Keep Your Distance, Miss Unafraid, Miss Out of My Way. So those are some of my songs, and I've collected them since I've been doing this show, and I think they're fun. So let's talk about Off the Top. Oh, do you want to sing now? Do you have a favorite song you'd like to?
You know what? Can you give me a little time? Because I'm kind of going to go through my head and
Sure,
try to think
sure,
of
sure.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
Your
But
creativity
I
super.
will.
Sure. Your creativity superpower. What do you love about it or not so much? Carla May?
Okay. This was interesting because I actually had to go and make notes about some of these, about because there's like five that come to mind for me. I've got empathy, resilience, collaboration, intuition, and playfulness were kind of ones that for me came into, I guess, into play. I've actually never been asked that. So I actually had to do some homework for myself.
Good. I made you work. She works hard for the non-money.
Yeah,
There you go. See?
that's right.
So what's
Um,
the downside? Is there any downside to any of them? I love that you added playfulness. I haven't heard that one before. Any downside
yeah.
to any of those?
I think sometimes empathy, I think there is some downsides because sometimes it can be very emotionally draining. And I mean, I look at even from the job as a police officer, or, even with friends, with colleagues, all that kind of stuff. So, there is kind of that emotional drain. Um, Sometimes with resilience, there's overexertion because
Hmm.
you can do it all and you've got to keep going.
Yep.
So that's one there. Collaboration. The first one that came to mind for me was conflict. Sometimes, I mean, like you think that everybody can collaborate and sit, but some of the disadvantages are you are going to have conflict. And then how you go through and work with that. Um, with playfulness, sometimes lack of professionalism can come into play.
Oh, you're allowed. You're allowed. Come on. Drawing outside the lines, we know that.
That was kind of one like, especially coming from where I did, where it's very, you're very in a box as a cop. And that's why I laugh because I never fit in the box. And I had even some old chiefs who would say, Carly, you always had a pink fingernail sticking out or a pink toenail, because I wore pink nail polish and I was just fun. I had a blingy phone case and, all that kind of stuff, just kind of living outside the box. But those were kind of some of the disadvantages to some of those superpowers.
I like it. It's very, very interesting. I've never had anybody bring so many words, but they're all true. And resilience, you can be working very, very hard, and it can be exhausting and draining. I want to ask you a question. There was
Okay.
something in the bio you told me that I talked about, and you sent me a story after the fact that I didn't
Mhm.
include. And talking about resilience and collaboration and playfulness, I'm going to put all three of those superpowers for Carla May into this story. You started in 2022, which is only 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the
Yeah.
Bliss Chic Boutique. First of all, where was it? Second of all, what was the idea? Third of all, how did you name it? Because I love the name. And I know there's some special stories in there. Why don't you tell us about them, Carla May?
Sure. So I started the Bliss Chic Boutique because I love fashion. And of course, being a police officer, we're always in our blue, I call them the blue polyesters. So whenever I would go to the mall, grocery shopping, I just would dress up because I love fashion, hats, clothes, that stuff. And as time goes, I would go and sell my clothing, but we didn't have a lot of places to sell them on besides like Kijiji or eBay, that kind of stuff, and I guess Poshmark. But a lot of times people would barter down the price, and I'm like, you have no idea the fabric, the clothing, how it falls, feels, all that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden, I looked at all my clothes and I thought, you know what? I got to start a luxury consignment clothing company because I've got so many here. And I had some friends in the clothing industry and fashion industry. And so I talked to them and I came up with the name. I'm trying to remember. I just like I love bling and diamonds and that kind of stuff. So kind of the bliss chic kind of came up.
I
And then
love it.
boutique. Yeah. And so BCB for short. And that's how I kind of came up with that and called out to a few other friends that I had and asked, I know you're in the industry and I know you guys have go through clothes every season, every 3 to 4 months. Do you have any to put in the store? And they said, yeah. So that's how that kind of started. And then what was the other question? Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
a special story. There was a story about a young
Yes.
girl, the prom story. Tell us the prom
Yes.
story,
So I
please. Yeah.
had a consignor come forward and she has some beautiful gowns, a lot of them only worn once. And she had this one beautiful gown and she was very set on a price, which was fine, because it kind of matched up to what was out there. And it had been sitting there for quite a while. And I called her up and asked, could I lower the price? And she wouldn't budge. And then what seemed to happen, I had a grandma and her granddaughter come in one day and she was looking for a prom dress. And I guess the grandma had said that they've been looking for quite a while. She walked in, saw this dress, and that was it. She said, Grandma, like, this is it. And she looked at the price and tears welled up because it was way over their budget. And so I just had them, kind of look around the store, just around the event, and I gave a call to the consignor lady or the client and asked, "Is there any way this is what who is here? This is what's happening. And I guess the granddaughter, her mom was dying and she actually had cancer, terminal cancer.
Mm.
And it most likely had looked like she was not going to be there for prom. So the client, well, she was in tears when I was talking to her about this and telling her the story. And she ended up coming back and going way below the budget so
Mm.
that the granddaughter could actually buy a handbag and shoes on top of that
Oh,
to finish the outfit. So I
oh.
still get goosebumps when I think of that because it's these stories and these experiences that, are just so special.
Absolutely. You wrote that in the notes to me today, and I didn't add it into the bio, but I wanted to make sure we got that story. That says a lot about you that you wanted to help them, that you were a collaborator between the seller, and you listened to them. You made your store resilient, right?
Mhm.
Because you were able to get a negotiation going that wasn't just a price tag issue. It says $500, damn it. If you can't afford it, go somewhere. You didn't pull that card on them. So
Yeah.
very, very impressive. Anything else? Any favorite items besides that dress that you sold? Anything that you wanted for yourself that you let somebody buy? Ooh, can I ask that? Anything come through that you wanted?
Um, Two pieces, and it's when you see them on the hanger, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely stunning. And then I'll try it on and I'm like, nope, just not for me. But the one thing I've really learned through doing this and working with the women is clothes bring out so much. And you can put on, for instance, a
Mhm.
power suit that you had, say, from 10 years ago, and now you've got whatever, 10, 15 pounds. And, the last 10 years, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. And then you do, and you put that power suit on. And I've watched women kind of look in the mirror going, this isn't who I thought it was going to be when I put it on.
Hmm.
And then when I talk to them, I bring up the fact that who you were 10 years ago is not who you are now.
Mhm.
Right? So no wonder it doesn't look like that power suit or how it made you feel 10 years ago because you are very different now.
Yep.
So it's beautiful to kind of watch the women come through that and realize that's so true.
And the fact that it's a luxury clothing boutique to me says that people would come in with a dream they either had about aspiring to a certain type of fashion, or once they got in the store and it's at your home, I know, and they started to see what the merchandise, what was available, they started to dream. How would I
Mhm.
look in that? How would that make me feel? How would I impress somebody with that? Interesting.
Yes,
By the way, are big wing padded shoulders coming back? I saw somebody
they
on a talk show this
are.
morning with shoulders that were out to here and they were out to here when they were the black. I said, "What? Are they
Yes,
coming
the,
back?"
the shoulder pads are coming back. And it's funny because I tried on a blazer a couple weeks ago and I actually asked the seamstress lady, I said, Can you like lower the shoulders?" He's like, well, no, this is a style, but like I don't want them up to my ears.
I saw it on a political talk show. Somebody was a consultant or an analyst coming in on something. There's always something going on. And this woman had a black jacket, and the shoulders were literally out to here, and they were
Yes.
almost like wings taking off. And I said to myself, "Where's her body? Where are the shoulders underneath it?" I haven't seen anything like that in years and years.
Yep.
And for those of us who have non-padded hangers in our closets where clothes have been stretched out a little bit, we might have
Truly.
automatic styles that can go to that level because the clothes stretched this way.
Yep. It's true.
There you go.
Oh
Well, my my
man.
my fashion trick is I wear black all the time, so it's always it's sized for whatever my size is at that time. My superpower, Carla May, I think is just I love talking to people, and the downside is that I trust people too much, and sometimes I get talked into things I don't really want to do, and that's the way it is. Of businesses that don't take off, and people, oh, come do this, we'll do this together. Oh, you're wonderful, let's do this. And the joke I like to tell, which is not so funny, is that every time somebody says, we need a website, I go and buy the damn domain. And then when they bail out on the business, I'm left holding a domain for a couple of years that I don't really want and I don't really use. So I have a lot of property that nobody wants. But I will not renew and GoDaddy knocks, knocks. Do you want to renew this? No, let that one go. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I'll sell it for $5. No, you'll get 99 cents. Skip it. Just let it go. So there you go. Now, New Year's resolutions, I can still ask because it's still January. Do you believe in them or not? Do you keep them or make them or don't? What do you think?
I'm an A.
Me too.
Yeah, when I was younger, it was one of these right on, January 1st, I'm going to do this and this and this. And I learned very quickly that I'm very good at self-sabotaging. So
Mm,
instead of getting to that point, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to make goals, even actually goals kind of in the November, December time of, okay, for this next year, for instance, how many workshops, how many speaking things, what does that look like for me? And as a person, how many people do I want to go out and reach and be able to talk to and network with?
mhm.
And so that I think those are whether you people call them resolutions or not, but I'm kind of a nay
Yeah,
for that.
me too. And
Yeah.
people tell me they have a bucket list, and I always say, "What are you waiting for?" You have no idea how much time is left, what you're going to do with
Yes.
it, where you're going to be. Just do it. You want to do it now. You want to ice skate? Go find a rink somewhere or find a pond and make sure it's safe underneath. Do it now. Don't wait till when I
I,
retire. Well, you might not like me. You're never going to retire. So what are you
yeah.
waiting for? Do it now. You want a toy and you can afford it or you can figure it out. Do it now while you're thinking
Yes.
about it. That's when you need to do it. I think we put too much stuff off into this abyss called the
Yeah.
bucket list. Well, that bucket can tip over. Sorry, not meaning to sound downer, but
No.
you never know. So let's just have some fun while we're here, right?
Well, I love that. And it's funny because I was one time my husband was bringing up this bucket list and I felt bad because I'm like, am I kind of a moron that I don't have a bucket list? Like I really don't. And I kind of felt like a little small because I thought I've talked to people and they all have these bucket lists. They even have the movie the bucket list movie too.
Mm,
And I'm like, I don't. And but then when I looked at stuff, when I want to do something and if I can, I go and do it. So
hello.
thank you for saying that because it totally made me look at stuff differently. Yes.
You're very welcome. I made up that
Yeah.
decision and I don't I set goals almost by the day. I'll wake up and
Yeah.
say, what do I want to accomplish today? What do I want to do today that'll I won't say make the world a better place because everybody thinks they're doing that and I'm not sure who is. I don't know how much we can, but be a good person. Yes. Interface with people and bring some happiness to somebody. Be happy myself. Try to be a little
Mhm.
healthier. Those are the things it's like, okay, I've got two radio shows today and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get my taxes done and I'm going to finish the soup in the fridge that I made with carrots and mushrooms and celery because it's been there for 3 days and it probably is at its prime and I want that pot washed tonight and that's why I did finish the soup
And
for
it's
lunch and I
healthy.
washed the and it's healthy and that's what I did. So those my goals are pretty much by the day or I'll say,
I
you know
love it.
what? I'm going to go to the grocery store on Saturday. Why Saturday? Because I buy enough bananas for one a day in my morning milkshake. And if I have enough milk, then I have my milkshake. So I know that Saturday is the day this week I'll go to the supermarket. That's
That's
it.
awesome.
So I
Yep.
that's how I plan. That's
Yep.
absolutely how I plan. It's by need almost and by running out of things and that's about it. Yeah, we're kind of isolated where I am and everything is very far away and so I got a note from an email from the BMW people and they said, "Hey Bonnie D, is it time for a new car?" And I had the audacity. Being a saucy dame, Carlamay, I gave myself permission. I wrote back to this person who probably wasn't even a real person. It was probably just an auto email. And I said, my car is driven 6.5 miles a week. I fill up with gas once every 4 months. I don't think I need a new Beamer. It's in the garage. It's fine. It's washed a couple times a year. I haven't even put the top down because I never know what the weather is here. And it's a convertible. And you
Yep.
know what? I'm keeping it and it's lovely. And thanks for selling it to me 3.5 years ago. Goodbye. And I never got an answer from him because who in their right mind would take the time to write to a
Oh,
car salesman and say, I don't need it. So I'm
why, thank you.
I'm having a little bit of fun. I said, no, you're not getting this one back, and I'm keeping it, and it's beautiful,
Yep.
and I love it, and thank you because it's a great car, and that's the end of that.
What color?
It's black. It's
Black.
all black. It's a convertible, two-seater, and it's a Z4. And I only drive Zs. And until about 4 years ago, I was driving 370Zs, 360Zs,
Yeah.
Well, I was a Nissan Datsun Z person
Okay.
for decades. And then the last one I had was in a serious accident. And it is a surprise to me and everybody who knows me that I was able to walk away from that accident. It should have been
Wow.
instant. And
Yep.
I walked away. And it's the strangest thing, and I'll tell you a story another time, but it was strange. So I was looking for a Z. The car had to be totaled just because rear end damage. That was it. And I looked everywhere. I was in Durham. I went to every car dealership, and nobody wanted to talk to me. And when you went on Carvana, I would say Nirvana, Carvana, and all of those online, the second that a 370Z in decent shape hit the online market, it was sold as fast as the picture
Wow.
wasn't even going up. You could not touch those cars.
Yeah.
And then one day I went to a car dealer who was not a Nissan dealer. It was, I think, a Chevy dealer on Car Row. And I drove up and they had all kinds of really cool, nice high-end sports cars in the used lot. I didn't see what I wanted. There were no Z's there. You couldn't find them. So what was I looking for? And a young man in a golf cart drove up. And I said to myself, oh, he must be on his way to golf somewhere. Where? I don't know. We were on a highway, but golf somewhere. And he said, can I help you? I said, why? He said, I work here. What are you looking for? And I said, I'm looking for a Z, low mileage, convertible, automatic, no smoking. He said, give me a couple minutes. He came back 10 minutes later. They had a sister lot. It was a lot with a different brand on it. It wasn't a BMW lot. It was something else. I forget what it was. Another sports, not a sports car, a high end like an SUV type of a car. I'm forgetting. And he drove up in this car. I said, what? He said, it's a Z. It's not the one you want. And it's not white, it's black, but it's low mileage, non-smoker, one owner. I said, let's go inside. I have my checkbook with me.
Wow.
That was it. And
Yeah.
he drove it to my house 2 days later, and he had to show me how to use the car because it had all kinds of things, all kinds of technology that I didn't have on my last 370Z. And I had to take off the one that helps you stabilize the car when you change lanes because it reminded me of when my accident happened when my Z lost control. And I
Yeah.
felt that shaking, and I was running in the rain, and the car was going all over the lanes. And I said that's too familiar to me, so I took that off. But I had to learn not how to drive it, how to use the car because it's a computer on four beautiful wheels. And that was it. I wrote a check, and the insurance company paid me a payout on the Z that was almost the equivalent of the entire price I had paid for that Z 5 years earlier.
Wow.
So
That's
I got to use it almost for free, except gas and insurance for five. I said, that's amazing. So that's
wow.
how I ended up with. And what's fun is a friend of mine bought a mirrored license plate for a vanity plate for the front, and it says AKA Radio Red in red letters on a mirror.
Awesome.
Yep,
Red and black, beautiful.
it'd be absolutely beautiful. So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful little car. I enjoy it very much. So, okay, enough of that. Let's go to our next thing. Okay, coffee or tea, brewed or pods, bought, made at home, how often, neat or what I call accessorized, meaning sweeteners and flavorings and things to make it a different color and a different smell and all that. Mug, thermos, cup, what do you do? What's your pleasure?
Oh my goodness. Um, I'm so out of the box with this. So I've learned I have to do decaf because
Okay.
I love breakfast.
Me
Yeah.
too, me too, me too, me too. I knew I
Like,
liked you. Okay, go ahead.
yes. And you know what? It's only been maybe the last 6 months because I would get stomach aches and I'm like, what is this? And I enjoy, especially when you have a nice, beautiful breakfast, you're sitting with a friend and just hanging out and having your cups of coffee. So yes, decaf. Um, we use Italian coffee at home,
Mm-hmm.
and so do that. Um, let's see. If I go out for a specialty treat drink, it'll be either Starbucks, well, usually I guess a Starbucks, and a caramel macchiato. So I do kind of do my foo-foo drink, but I do like whipped
Mm-hmm.
cream on top. Gotta have the little whip.
Me too. Light whip, I
And
tell them. Light whip. Yes.
like, yes, but you just need that little bit, right?
You
That
need
little sweet.
more
Yep.
than a little bit, but go ahead.
Let's see. And I usually take my own, I have a really blingy cup. And so, yeah, just like my blingy water bottle.
Oh, pretty,
Yep.
pretty, pretty. That would make me
So,
want to drink more water. Go ahead.
well, it's my happy place right there. And then you know what I like is a cappuccino. And I'm not sure, and I'll do a full either sugar or honey in the cappuccino, but
Mm,
yeah. And I do real whipped cream, not creamer, or
yes,
not half and half.
real
Yeah.
whipped cream.
Yeah.
I keep some heavy cream in
For
the
the heavy cream.
refrigerator in case I
Yeah.
want a little bit of, and I have one of those. It's a $15 toy. I don't know where they make them in Sweden somewhere, and it has a little whisk on the bottom, and you put a battery in, and it has its own little stand and its little circle on the bottom. It's about a foot tall, and I keep that, and then I put it into a little metal jar that I refrigerate or freeze first, and
Yeah.
then I can beat the whipped cream in less than a minute to that consistency if I want. But my son-in-law makes great cappuccinos and they don't believe in decaf coffee. They roast their own beans and all that. So once in a while I'll have one. I'll pay the price with the
Yeah.
afterwards. The only caffeinated drink that I really, really love to buy outside is a mocha decaf skim with light whip at Starbucks. And I haven't had one in about a year, and that one doesn't give me too much of a buzz. But
Okay.
I can't do caffeine. And one of my guests on Cool Dude last week told me that he buys the HEB coffee pods that are the Texas coffee pecan, and they have it in different flavors. And I found them on Amazon, but they make them in decaf. And I might,
Nice.
and it's not cheap. They're much more per pod. But I have a
Yeah.
Keurig and I have an espresso. But mostly
Yeah.
I drink peppermint tea, and I
Yeah.
will commit all kinds of horrible deeds by putting a big mug with water from the filter in the fridge in the not in the door. I have it inside, and I'll heat that up in the microwave. Oh no, you really use the microwave for tea? Yes, I do. Sorry. And I'll put the tea bag into it. And you never squeeze the tea bag because you get the tannic acid and it's horrible. I dunk the tea bag in and leave it there and make it for about another 60 seconds in the microwave till it's just perfect temperature. Or I'll commit another crime. I'll put an ice cube in it if it's too hot to drink. And then I'll drink that almost down to the bottom. And then I'll fill it up again with water in the fridge and put it in the fridge and leave it there overnight. No sugar, no lemon, no milk, no cream, nothing. And then
Yeah.
I'll have peppermint, just lightly peppermint flavored water. And I'll
Yeah.
fill that one more time. So I'll keep the tea bag going for about 2 days.
That's a good idea. I love
Yeah,
peppermint tea. There's just
I do
something
too.
about it.
I
And
know.
Earl Grey, but I love
Oh,
Earl Grey with the
yes,
heavy cream and
yes.
honey.
And do you get the Earl Grey with the bergamot flavor of scent in it?
Oh,
It's a spice or an herb that they put into it's Bergamot, and it says on the
okay.
bag. I'm looking for the decaf version. They believe it or not make Earl Grey decaf, but it's bergamot, and that's that very heavy fragrant something that comes out of the. And sometimes I'll take the if I get you get a brand that has a sealed foil packet. Twinings does it, and Bigelow does it. When I open it, I'll just leave it in the kitchen and let it. Yeah, I don't want to waste it, or I'll put it in a drawer somewhere
Oh,
and just
yeah.
leave it for a little bit until that scent wears off. But there's so much goodness in that. Okay,
Yeah.
we've covered that. Let's go to TV, movies, favorite genre. I'll throw a bunch at you: musical, thriller, sci-fi, drama, romance, comedy, adventure. What do you like to watch?
You know what? I like documentaries and docuseries.
You're the
Love
first one who's told me that on all my shows. Go ahead.
Love
What?
them. And I don't know if it's because with my job, and you kind of get to know people in very different ways as a police officer because you go into the nitty-gritty. But I love like the docu-series, even on streaming, the docu-series. And I was trying to think of some that were my favorites. And I don't really have favorites because I watch a lot of things one time, and then there's a few that I'll watch a couple times, but well, for instance, okay, Greenleaf. I really enjoyed and it's not a docuseries, but just the series Greenleaf
What is
on
it about?
Netflix.
I don't know that one.
It's it's the whole business of church in the South. It was
Okay.
Oprah was the producer, I think, in for
Okay.
it.
I think I know which
But
one. Okay.
yes, but it had music and it had um but it really went into what, church down south, and I mean, because church in America and church in Canada are very different. And
Hmm.
so they're just run very differently. And so just the business side of stuff and what can actually happen and the deep dive into some of the negative stuff that can go on. But I really enjoy that. Just the acting was excellent. And you know what I also love is I love when producers do their research for cop shows. Like I love Blue Bloods
I was going to
because
ask you. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
because when Blue Bloods actually, it's like they actually do the research on what
Hmm.
actually happens and the realities and truths behind things that happen. The one that I laugh is oh shoot, now I just forgot it. CSI Miami or the
Okay. Oh,
CSI
that was so the
because
CSI
I
franchise.
yes, I laughed because these women are walking their blonde hair flowing and they're beautiful, stunning in their white suits. They're coming to these crime scenes, laying over these bodies as their hair and DNA is falling all over the bodies. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here going, or when up in you can press buttons up in the sky and everything. I'm thinking, wow, like that's pretty cool if we could do that. But I
I
had to laugh at those, and some people hated when I would, say, "Oh, these movies or these shows," because it kind of took the I don't know the reality of what people actually thought would
It
happen.
glamorized it.
Yes,
It
glamorized.
chic it. What about CSI Las Vegas, the original one, where there's a lot of lab work and a lot of, is any of that? No, there's always
You know
drama in the
what?
lab
It
too.
was, yeah, it was okay. But some of the lab stuff, again, you're like press, it's like, ooh, I could do this and this comes together. And then within a span of what, half an hour, everything is solved. And that's,
Well,
you
that's
know,
the show.
well, exactly. And that's why kind of even what is it, the show 48 hours, at least it shows that, you know what, not everything can happen in
Yep.
48 hours,
Yep.
right? Maybe you get a few things. So I like those. And then I really enjoy movies that are based on true stories.
Okay.
And even if some of it is kind of based on true events, but again, I love the fact of stories of people, right? I think we each have a story, and I think it's so important that we tell our stories and
Yep.
talk about who we are and
Yes.
how we've come out of things, or maybe we didn't, we made some bad decisions. Well,
That's why we're here. That's why we're
yeah,
here. Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes you order a coffee that isn't good. I'm teasing. By the way, your Canadian accent peeked through about 3 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
I heard a word. I didn't ask you the word process because you would have said process and everybody would know. But I heard a little bit. And I say that with great admiration. I hope you know that. Uh, you may be surprised to know that my favorite TV shows are French language detective procedurals with a quirky woman lead. And if you've never seen Candice Renoir, like the painter, she comes back after 10 years raising four children, boy twins and an older boy and a girl, and she comes back to the police force as a detective. And she always carries a big handbag, fashion bag. She's blonde, she's gorgeous. Cécile Bois, Bois, which is the French word for woods, is the actress. It was on for 10, maybe 15 seasons. These shows go forever. And they all make fun of her and they don't respect her. And she finds ways to talk to people, to perps or to victims. She finds ways to see things like
Mm-hmm.
Columbo did, but in a woman way, in a feminine way. She never loses her femininity. She'll show up in gorgeous rain boots and not high-end Hollywood fashion, but still in French terms, she's just looks good even when she's in the mud with
Very
boots and a
chic.
raincoat. Chic in the
Yes.
mud with boots. And Candice Renoir. Another one is Alice Nevers. It's Nevers, and they don't call them detectives. These women are investigating judges. Le
Oh,
juge est à la femme. The judge is a woman. They're investigating judge. Hello, I'm the investigating judge. And I was speaking fairly fluent French many, many years ago, and now I just love the language. So the thing about watching these is you have to watch the subtitles or you don't follow
yes.
along every detail. And so those are some of the shows. There are whole bunches. There's one, an Italian show with and often these are not trained detectives. Her name is Foscacina, and she rides a horse through the fields in her farm in the opening. That's very dramatic. There's one called Master Crimes there's one called Astrid.
Okay.
Astrid is Sarah Mortensen is a phenomenal French actress who is playing a very high functioning, very autistic, neurodiverse woman who is in charge of the archives of a major police department. The archives are as big as a warehouse. She can
Mm.
go up and down the aisles, Carla May. Okay, can you? Oh, everybody who had a green umbrella at the crime scene in the past 10 years, she'll walk through. She does this with her hand. This is how gets her brain going. And she'll say, ici, là, ça. And she'll come up with the folder in one out of 10,000 folders and boxes in the archive. She helps them solve crime. She challenges the ME all the time. She's a brilliant, and she works with Raphael, who is the woman main detective who becomes friends. And Astrid will say, c'est pas lundi. Je vais avec dîner à votre maison. I'm very rusty right now, but she'll say, it's Monday. I will be at your house at 7:30 for dinner. That's what I do on Mondays. That's all I do on Monday night. She is so in the box, in her
Mm.
box. She can't stand noise, a crime scene with I'm dropping my earpiece here. Dropping too much noise, she'll put her hands on her ears, and she has a group of people like her who are on the spectrum who hold a round table almost like an AA meeting in a basement in a church somewhere. And she goes in, those are her friends, and they will help her on cases sometimes because they're all neurodiverse and they know how to find things. They know how to see
Oh,
things. They have so that's one of my favorites. And I think they just finished season 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, but that's also in French. So those are and I couldn't tell you whether they are on target in terms of reality, but they're fascinating. Nothing gory or too bloody, but
yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting crimes. Very interesting. And there's always a love interest, and somebody is, and Astrid won't hold hands with her boyfriend. And at one point, she puts her cheek on his, and you can tell by the silence they're saying she's feeling something. She's starting to feel like a person and not just like a machine.
Oh,
Very touching, very, very touching. So those are some of my favorite shows. I live alone. I can't watch a movie. I'll watch a binge a series on a
yeah.
weekend if I have nothing to do, but I don't want to see it as a 3.5 hour movie. I'd rather see it in 45-minute or 1 hour segments. Another show is Murder in dot dot dot, which is crimes committed in different parts of the French countryside. And it's a
Oh,
difference, and there'll be lakes, and there'll be mountains, and there'll be villages, and each show takes place in a different locale, which is featured. And it's always a murder hit right in the beginning somewhere. Somebody fell off a cliff, or it was a skydiver, or it was somebody giving a training in how to climb mountains, or a boating school. There's always something interesting in terms of the murder, and then they spend about an hour and a half trying to solve it. And then it's usually the detectives could be an ex-husband wife, could
okay.
be a woman and her long-lost sister, could be people who used to know each other in school. There's always a backstory, and that's what makes it interesting. And the nice part, as soon as I take a sip here, is that the same actors show up in these different series. So I see my favorites. Oh, she was in Candice Renoir. Oh, they were in Alice Nevers. Oh, they were in Astrid. Oh, they were in Sharif. That's another one. Cherif. Fascinating. That took place in a police station. I'm talking too much. Okay, let's
No,
move
that's
on.
awesome. I
So
got some
I
new shows to watch.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you a list if you want. Next one.
Yeah.
How do you relax? What's your favorite way? I'm going to mute myself so I can cough politely here and you go ahead.
Okay. Relaxing. I'm going to be completely honest. I actually have to go away. I have to leave. And because when I am home, even when I try to sit down and read a book, or just put on a show, there's laundry to do, there's dishwasher to unload, there's something. I'll open up a drawer. Oh, I should organize this right now. And so for me, I actually need to physically go away and take a book and just listen to music, podcasts, or read. But yeah, I've got to get away. Oh, you're still on mute.
There I go. Thank you. I play a lot of word games. I have about 35 words with friends games with
Okay.
people. A couple are, I think, in the UK, so their time is different from mine. I have a young man who wears dark glasses and looks very cute. I only know his first name and his last initial. Excuse me. And I have 6 games going with him, and he's in Southern California. He hasn't told me he's near the fire, so I assume he's safe. And we will play real time sometimes. So I'll log on
Oh,
and I'll be in bed like 1 o'clock in the morning, just going to sleep, or midnight, and it's only 9 o'clock for him, and he's playing. So as fast as I can put my word in on Words with Friends, he comes back with his own word, and we play sometimes 15, 20 minutes. It's Bonnie and it's Jason. It's Bonnie and Jason. Ba, 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 ba. I have a woman named Maureen, must be in Europe because at 4 in the morning when I couldn't sleep the other night, she was going back and forth with me, and we were playing. So I'm playing Words with Friends, which is Scrabble, real time with people I will never meet. I have about 35, 40 games
awesome.
going. And then I have word games with friends here, and we play the New York Times Connections,
Okay.
Blossom, Strands, and Wordle.
Wordle,
A-
yes.
And we share our scores, the little box they give you for the score. We share it on text. So I have 4 people I play and share the scores with 4 people with Wordle, 2 with Strands, 3 with Strands, 2 with Blossom, and 4 with Connections. And I do that every day. And
Very
how I relax is I keep a running document where I put in my score on each one, and I make comments on how long it took me to solve the puzzle. I kid you not. And I have the words of Wordle in alphabetized with the date and how many tries it took me in a Word document from the past
Wow.
2 years. So let's say that it has an A in the second position, it ends with a Y, and I'll look up five-letter words with A and a Y, and I'll get it down to where I think it might be, let's say 10 words. I'll take those 10 words and compare them to my Wordle vocabulary list.
That,
No, they already had relay on. That was in March of 2024, and I will cross off those words, and that helps me get it down. I'm the only one I know,
oh
but
man.
that
And
relaxes me. I love it.
wow.
I do that every day, sometimes at 11, and I'll look at the clock. Oh my God, it's 11 p.m. Am I going to be able to do all four puzzles in an hour? I better hurry up, and I'll do it, and I'll just squeak in before midnight before they change. So yes, that's how I relax is puzzles and
Oh,
watching TV too. So
yes. Yeah.
big
Sorry.
relaxer.
I was just going to say, if you hear whining, the puppy is coming and whining, so I apologize.
No apology. Can you show us the puppy?
Yeah, hold on. Come here. This is Gracie.
Oh, Grace, who'd you say, Gracie?
Gracie, yep.
What is she?
She's a Havanese.
She's beautiful.
Yeah,
How
she's a
old is she?
diva. She's 9, actually.
Okay. Nine
Yeah,
human years?
no, 9 dog years, so I don't know
Dog
what it,
years.
yeah.
Okay.
But but she's a little diva. She runs this household. She's only 10 pounds, but she's
She compliments you. She's very chic. She's very bliss chic, I can tell. Absolutely.
yeah, so she's if you hear her whining, she's wanting attention right now. So
She's welcome to it. Hello, Gracie. It's lovely to meet you. Bienvenue. Welcome. There you go. Gracie can come on my show anytime. You want to sing for us before we do our wacky stories, Carla May? You don't
yes,
have to, but
okay.
it would be lovely if you would. Just a couple bars, up to you.
You know what? Can I do Amazing Grace?
Whatever you would like is fine.
Okay, I will do that. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Let me just take a breath. You have a beautiful voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you.
lovely. There are no words. Let's just take a pause here. Thank you. Beautiful. And you've been singing since you were just a little girl. And the story you told me in your bio was your mom was playing or singing with somebody and you heard a wrong note. You were 2 years old. You climbed up on the piano bench and you played the right note on the piano.
Yeah.
Tell it in your own words. Come on. I don't want to do
Yeah,
the
well,
summary.
my mom was in a singing group called Sweet Spirit Singers in the 70s, and they were in the recording studio. And of course, I just kind of went along with mom, and yeah, they kept singing this wrong note every single time. And mom said I got up onto the piano bench and I just like started hitting and plunking the right note. And she at that time realized that she's like, "Yep, you've got pretty much very good pitch, and you knew exactly." So it was a gift at that time that she saw.
I would say so. My goodness gracious. And did you record any songs? You mentioned that you went to recording studios? Were you in a band? Did you have your own, shall we say, your own mark, your own trademark as a singer? Any place we would find you?
Well, I'm not, you know what? I'm not sure to be honest, because I did a lot of backup and background studio work, as well. Had started kind of finding songs but then life took a different road,
Hmm.
and I came back to university and stuff. So I'm just trying to think. I don't know if there's anything. I actually haven't Googled to see if there's any songs or
I
anything that are
I
on there.
will. Question for you. Didn't you mention to me before the show that you sang at a lot of police events? What was that like?
Yeah, so it was good. I did the national anthem a lot, and I still do it actually for different sporting events. And even our Canadian Finals Rodeo, I did that a number of years ago. So I do the anthem a lot around for different events. And but policing, I did the graduations, I sang at the different galas and different conferences. So the neatest thing was, even though I was in policing where music and singing, I mean, they don't really come into contact at all, I was able to use my gift still while policing. So that was pretty cool.
I think it was very cool. And my guess is that a lot of the police people who knew you said, I know her. I worked with her. Listen to that voice. She's one of us. Are we lucky? I bet they said that under their breath or over their breath. I bet they were very, very tickled and proud to know you because of your beautiful vocal talents. Thank you for singing. That was just lovely.
Thank you for having
Really,
me.
really lovely. Okay, you want to show and tell some wacky stories? You're just going to talk about them.
You know what? Well, I guess I'll show one. I don't know how well you can see it because on, but it is Muppet, a tiny pink canine with a comb over and a few missing teeth.
Just
Wins
hit
the
share. Hit
ugliest.
share. You want to share your screen? You can if you want.
You
Hit
know
the
what?
share.
I just have it photocopied.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
don't
Go
know if you
ahead.
can see. Can you see the? Oh,
Hold it. Hold it. Your green. There you go. Yes, 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 yes. Hold
okay.
it right there. Okay. Yes.
So it's the ugliest dog. And so it's you meet Muppet, a Chinese crested dog from Peterborough. This unique canine has a tongue that permanently hangs out of the side of his mouth with an intriguing hairstyle with very little hair. So I thought this, I don't know, wild and wacky. I'm looking at this dog and actually it's so ugly, it's cute. Like that's just when I had to, you know, and probably walking down the street, people would be like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? Kind of thing.
Some people say that about human babies too. They're so, I'm sorry. So cute.
Yes. Okay, they do. But the funniest thing is this dog. So, this dog, what was the name of this dog? I can't even remember. Oh, Muppet. Okay.
Muppet.
So, Muppet's brother in 2012 won the ugliest dog, and his name was Mugly.
Oh, oh, that's
Yeah.
cruel. That
So,
is really cruel. I want to share a story with you, but I'm going to show it on the screen here. I think you'll appreciate this. Let me go to screen share. Screen number one. Okay, so many screens. These are the first mouse goggles. Can you see these?
yes.
They're tiny VR goggles for mice, and scientists built them. And there's a mouse underneath that. I assume that they're not sitting on the head, but they're over the head, and they're kind of holding them in place. I don't know, but it's a technology so they can realistically experience VR in the lab. And it's not just for fun. They're able to put the mouse on the treadmill using the goggles, and they can get the mice to recognize anything coming in from peripheral vision that could be a threat, and they're going to use it to do all kinds of testing for humans. And they've used low-cost parts, believe it or not, from smartwatches and other devices. This was not a huge research project. Let me just read a little bit. Okay, they built it by hacking. It's pretty much from smartwatches, and they are measuring brain activity and observing their behavior across a set of tests. Very, very interesting, and they hope it'll be able to help with studies of human brain activity. Interesting?
Wow. That's
Isn't that,
crazy.
isn't that crazy? That's a Cornell University. I'm going to stop the share on this one and let's go to your second one.
Okay, my second one is I sorry, the dogs. You probably can hear.
I can't hear. We cannot hear
Okay.
Gracie. Nope, nope.
Oops. Quiet, quiet.
You're fine.
So the second one is the 2025 Colors of the Year. And it was really interesting because this year they are going with earthier palettes, cozy colors, comforting spices and foods are what they're inspired by. So I found that quite interesting because last year they went with kind of they were more neutral. And so this year, cinnamon, caramel, all of these
Ooh.
eggplant.
Ooh,
So
I'm hungry.
yes, so it's kind of for me, and I love painting and wallpaper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking of a room with eggplant, or the you walk in this deep color. Oh, just
Aubergine is the French word for that. Aubergine.
just
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
So yes, that was kind of the what I kind of found quite interesting for this year because even going in and the styles coming in for fashion, they're more muted this year than last year, which I was quite surprised because last year was a lot of bright and hot pinks and some of the greens were bright, and this year some of them aren't as so. Yeah, I love color and style. Like again, that all kind of comes out in paints and
Red, red,
yeah,
black, and red and rhinestones. That's
yeah,
it. And red and blue eyes. That's it. So I'm fashion impervious, but I make my own fashion. It's the accessories for me. I
yeah.
have an interesting story to share with you, and I'm going to ask you if you know any of these sports, Carla May. And these are
Okay.
10 unusual sports you may never have heard of, or you might have. Have you ever heard of chess boxing?
No.
These exist. It's a 3-minute match of chess and boxing, starting and ending with chess. The victory can be a knockout in boxing or a checkmate in chess. It was conceived by a French comic book artist in 1992 and inspired by a Dutch performance artist. Chess boxing, it's called. Interesting. The
Man,
picture doesn't show the chess. What about dog surfing? Does Gracie do dog surfing?
oh, actually, she does. When I put up a pool in the summer, we'll put her on a little boogie board, and she just kind of stands there. I don't think she really knows what she's doing, but she's just
There she
standing.
goes. It's dog surfing. First documented instances can be traced to 1920s California and Hawaii. No surprise. National Geographic in 44 published an image of a surfing dog named Rusty, and the Los Coronado Bay Resort in California had the largest dog surfing competition since 2006. There we go. Rusty doesn't look too
Wow.
happy there. How about
Yeah.
hobby horsing? Have you ever heard of hobby horsing?
No.
Okay. You ride a toy horse through obstacles that simulate a real riding competition. In Finland, they have competitions and most popular with girls and women between 12 and 18 years old.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you'd love that. Now let's do the Lumberjack World Championship. Have you ever known a lumberjack who could do this kind of thing, a lumberjack?
No, but I've watched some stuff on TV, but no, I don't know one.
Every year, a city in Wisconsin, Hayward, receives over 100 lumberjacks, loggers, and sawyers for the World Championship. 21 events, 60-foot speed climb, log rolling, and chopping down timber. The award money comes to a total of over $50,000, and the winner is crowned the Tony Wise. I assume he had something to do with founding this all-around champion. Yes, named for the founder. Interesting.
Wow.
What about underwater torpedoes? We're back to the water. You ever heard of that?
No.
2017, military pool instructors Prime Hall and Don Tran founded the Underwater Torpedo League. 5 players on a team try to hold a rubber torpedo and place it on the other team's goal. It has taken over in social media and resulted in something called the Aqua Bowl.
Huh.
All right, I have another one. You ever heard of this? Is disgusting looking toe wrestling?
I can
Sorry.
only imagine.
You don't have to. It was created in the 70s by friends at a drinking pub in England, similar to arm wrestling. 2 players lock toes and try to pin their rival's foot. The World Toe Wrestling Championship has been held in Derbyshire since 1994. That's how many years? 25 and 6 over 30 years.
Oh
I
man.
this awful picture just grosses me. How about wife carrying? I'm almost embarrassed, but I'm going to show it. You ever heard of wife carrying? It's called ukonkanko in Finland. Husbands carry their wives piggyback style or fireman style. One of them held his wife upside down on the back with her legs over. Oh, I don't even want to know. The winners are awarded the wife's weight in beer. I don't even.
Oh my
How do
goodness.
you even? How about
Ay, ay,
extreme
ay.
ironing? Have you ever heard extreme ironing?
No.
Extreme Ironing is the story of Phil Shaw, a resident of Leicester, England, who in 1997 came home and found a pile of clothes that needed to be ironed. And he's a rock climber, so he decided to put the two together. He brought the ironing board up the rock climbing wall and he doesn't say how they connect the iron to keep it hot. That's the only thing, and I don't know about battery run irons. Thousands of enthusiasts carry their boards up mountains, skyscrapers, and canyons. Some have even iron clothes while parachuting or bungee jumping. So you
Oh
can
my
never
goodness.
say to a teenage boy, iron your shirt yourself. You can say that to them now, no matter, but I'm going rock climbing, Mom. Bring the
Well,
damn iron with you,
that's
right?
right.
How about lawnmower racing? Have you ever heard of this?
You know what? Yes, out on the farms, sometimes the guys used to go with their lawnmowers back and forth to see how fast people could
Well,
go.
that's the
So I
fast
don't know if
the
that's the same thing, but
it probably is. The most well-known is the 12-mile 500, July 4th every year in 12-mile Indiana.
oh
Several
my
states.
goodness.
I know. And what about caber tossing? Do you even know what that is?
No.
It's a wooden pole, 90 to 150 pounds.
Wow.
It is thrown. It is comes from the Scottish Highland Games. It falls on the other end. It's not important how far they throw it, just that it falls away from the thrower. Timber! The straightest toss wins the most points, with 12 o'clock position opposite the thrower awarded the maximum score.
Interesting.
Is
Huh.
that something I wouldn't even want to? Do you have another story for us?
Well, just you know what? One little quick thing is
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at the different fashionable because I love, fashionable.
Mm.
And the term groovy is a slang for a synonym, yeah, synonym for fashionable,
You were
popular,
thinking of the color
yeah, cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Yeah, so popular during the 1950s, 60s, 70s, as we know. It's roughly synonymous with words such as excellent, fashionable, or amazing, depending on the context. It originated in the jazz culture in 1920s, in which referred to the groove of a piece of music.
Oh.
It can also be in reference the physical groove of a record in which the pickup needle runs. Disc
Mm-hmm.
jockeys would announce playing good grooves, hot grooves, cool grooves when introducing a record about to play. I didn't think of groovy with fashionable. I just thought, like groovy,
Yeah. Yep.
So I thought that was very interesting to look at a slang term.
Isn't it part of was it in the 59th Street Bridge song, Simon and Garfunkel? Feeling groovy, right? Remember that in the
Yeah,
refrain? There you go. I haven't thought
yeah,
about that in years. I have
yeah.
one more to share. Thank you for those. Very interesting. One more to share. And this one is, why do we say o'clock? And
Oh,
it's not an Irish family. There it is, came up on the screen. It's a shortening of the phrase of the clock from Middle English, clock spelled CLOKKE. Mechanical clocks originated in the late 14th century in Europe. They replaced light-based timekeeping methods, which were sundials, way from the back. So when somebody says of the clock, it referred to the position of the mechanical hands on the clock's face, meaning I'm looking at this thing called a clock. As modern English evolved, the term shortened to O apostrophe clock in the early 1700s. While many modern timekeeping devices lack a traditional clock face, it's still standard to say o'clock as if you were imagining one. Interesting?
very interesting.
Yes,
Never would have thought of
I
that.
like I like word derivations. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to tell us about? Anything you want to share before I put the closing music on? Carla May, you're absolutely delightful and interesting, and I am so delighted. I met you at the National Publicity Summit several months ago, and I
Yes.
welcomed you about a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago, on my Read My Lips Cool Conversations with Creatives. I was so impressed with you that I invited you here on Saucy Dames, and you said yes. And I'm very appreciative. Anything else you want to share about you being, do you feel like a saucy dame? Did you know you were a saucy dame? Come on,
You know
tell me.
what? Yes, I
Good.
believe in my heart, and
Good.
yes, I know. I know, and I love it because you know what? Just being able to be who you are and yeah, just
I'm
enjoy life.
I'm very
I think
grateful. Go
just
ahead.
quickly,
Yeah.
just if can I let people know about my book and
Sure, sure,
I
of
wrote a
course. Go
book?
ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wrote a book called Youth Truth, and it's engaging in conversations that can change lives. And just working as a score resource officer and just watching some of these kids being able to engage with their parents or even anybody who has youth in their lives, or even grandparents, just engaging in some of those hard conversations and what that looks like. And so that is kind of now where my passion has gone, besides the Bliss Chic Boutique, but working with youth, working with parents, working just in these hard conversations of how to bring them forward. So very excited for that. It's on Amazon, it's on
Hold it
Ingram.
up. Hold it up again. We
Oh,
want to see the cover, please.
oh, hold on. Oh,
Not
uh,
yet. There we go. There we go. There we go. You can see it. Almost. Almost. There we go. Good. Hold still. Youth Truth, engaging in conversations that could. What a beautiful cover. Do you have a designer or did you do that yourself?
no, I had somebody do it.
It's lovely.
Yes, thank you.
Lovely.
So yeah, so I'm very excited, and now that's what I'm doing a lot of keynotes on and just speaking presentations, workshops, because that's something that even as adults, we tend to not have those hard conversations with each other, and then we expect our kids to, us to be able to go and talk with our kids. Well, we can't even talk with other adults.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's kind of another part of me.
What do you wear? Do you sing when you do your keynotes? Do you tell them you're a singer too?
I do, and I have done two keynotes where I've actually added in singing because
Good.
I think speaking and singing touch people in very different ways.
Totally. And they see you differently. They think
Yeah.
of you differently when you sing with such a beautiful voice. What do you wear? Do you wear a police uniform or are you
No,
retired from the are
I'm
you retired from
retired. Yeah.
retired? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
No,
what
I love color. Like I'll wear pinks and I'll wear purple.
nice.
Yeah, I love skirts and pantsuits and
Very
sweaters.
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Send some pictures. Thank you so much, Carla May. It's
Aw,
been
thank
a
you.
real joy getting to know you and sharing you with my audience. We have one person watching. Who are they on? Let's see what they're on. I'm trying to see which. Oh, somebody's watching us on Facebook. Whoever you are, thank you very much. This show will be available on demand. And by the way, I have to tell you that the lyrics to the song that I'm going to roll in, with which I opened the show, the song is called So You Wanna Be. I've owned that website forever and never did anything. I was going to write a book, and I talked to kids in the third and fourth grades on Long Island, New York, years ago on what they wanted to be, and I never made the book happen, but I did the research. So I bought the website. I think it's soyouwannabee.net. I don't think there's anything there, but I wrote a song recently, and my good friend Serge Hoffman, Hoffmann, who is a composer and an orchestrator and a musician and a singer in Paris. And he has written for Cirque du Soleil and for some major conferences. He's done some movie soundtrack work. And we've stayed friends for years. We worked for the same big software company for several years and we met. And not in person, always online. We've stayed friends. And he wrote the music and does the vocals for my words. So You Want to Be is my song and he wants to do it again in a different tone with different music. And I said, fine,
That's
bring it on. So
awesome.
so we'll see. So I'm going to play this now. Let me make
Okay.
sure everything is up. Here we go. And then we're going to close it. Don't go away. I want to take pictures. Okay. So hold on. Here we go. So You Want to Be. Let me make sure all my buttons are up here. Here we go. Engineer. Catchy.
So you wanna
So You
be
Want to Be.
a
Cool
cool kid,
kid.
hanging with an ink set, looking real,
Looking real.
cool and fine, asking you faking it. So you wanna be.
Here we go to the bridge. Bop, 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 bop. I'll bring my drumsticks next time. Thank you for watching, listening. We appreciate you, Carl.